Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hey everyone, I'm trying to get the microphone working better here. 1 second. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello, testing. Can you guys hear me? Testing, testing. Testing, hello. Testing, testing. Oh, good. Hey, Ryan. Glad you can hear me because the microphone on here doesn't seem like it's looking very loud. So I assume you guys can see and hear me. Let me let people know that we are live. And I will put that out there real fast. In the meantime, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them out there and I'll start to answer anything that you guys got once I get logged in here. Let me put this out here. We are all right, cool. All right, Ryan, you said you can hear me. Any questions that you have? Anything you want to talk about? And we'll, first time we've tried something like this, so I wanted to do that. We are at Greater Nevada Field. You can kind of see the view that we've got here today. We can actually go outside and sit. That's the way that things are going to work today. And interested in, you can see the teams are warming up out there. And it's my first time here at Greater Nevada Field, and I'm pretty excited about being able to see it. Any word on how Reno has adjusted to running Matias' system and any wrinkles that Ian Russell has implemented to it? It's a really great question. So I did talk to Ian about this probably about a month or so ago, and we covered it a little bit on a Black and Azul episode with him. He is fully implemented now in Matias' system. And to be quite honest, he's been extremely successful with his implementation of it. Now, the league has not necessarily caught up a little bit to how to play against it. I'm sure they're watching tape on the team. I'm sure they've seen how certain MLS teams have had success with it. In particular, I would say that a lot of teams are probably watching Minnesota United, LAFC, how Columbus handled the Quakes last season. If I was a coach, that's what I would be looking at. But the league doesn't have the same level of quality, particularly with like ball-playing center backs. And because they don't have the ball-playing center backs, they can't really take advantage of some of the holes that exist in the middle of the pitch. Secondly, they can't build up quite as effectively in their build-up before the man marking kind of kicks in. The other thing that it feels to me like Ian is doing, although he didn't tell me this, when I watch the games on TV, and I'm hoping to see a better tactical view here tonight, but when I watch them on TV, it does look like they are dropping faster and absorbing pressure and then getting to the marks, just like we've talked about on Black and Azul that the Quakes needed to do. So if you caught Carlin Carpenter's video that he did with us back at, I think it was a pregame. I think it was for the Portland Timbers, but I don't recall exactly which pregame it was. Maybe it was Colorado or the Galaxy. We talked with Carlin about that, and he talked about how at MLS's back, the Quakes dropped deeper. I see Ian doing that with Reno more effectively. So in some ways, I guess you could say that Ian's looks a little bit more like Leeds United than it does the way the Quakes are currently implementing to their detriment Matias' system. So hopefully that makes sense, Ryan. But I'm interested in kind of seeing tonight their interpretation of it and kind of seeing how far along they are with it. And also seeing like what's working well for them and how maybe USL Championship teams are either not yet able to adjust or not skilled enough to adjust, although Sac Republic has always played them tough. And I think in the previous games this season, Sacramento's played them pretty tough. So I'm expecting a really good game tonight. One of the reasons I wanted to be here for this particular game. Anything else you guys got? Need to check and see if the starting lineups are out. They probably are getting close, if they're not already, for Reno. I just got in. Oh, looks like they are in. So while you guys are maybe typing out the next question, let me let you know what's kind of going on tonight. If you don't follow Reno, one of the things that I'm going to be watching tonight is I'm going to watch Foster Langsdorff up top. People talk about his Wando-like movement. He played for the system that they've got at Stanford, which is the same system that produced Jordan Morris and Foster. So they've got a good history of strikers because Morris played a striker for them. He was mostly a 9. And so Foster Langsdorff, he has Wando type movement. I kind of want to see that in person because on TV, the camera sometimes zooms in too close. It's hard to watch him. So I'm going to keep an eye on him tonight. I'm also going to watch Francois over on the left-hand side. He has the most assists on the team this season. And I'm also going to watch Sam Gleedle at left back. So those are the guys that I am very interested in seeing in person and kind of seeing what they can do. So the lineup tonight looks like Gleedle on the left, Alfaro and Timmer in the middle, Richards on the right, former Quakes Kevin Partita and Sergio Rivas, who was a draft pick of theirs, are going to play in the double pivot. Herzog is going to be in the 10 position, Francois on the left. Tucker Bone was at the Air Force last year. I actually helped a team analyze him a little bit college team analyzed him last year, and he loves to shoot. As soon as he finds a shot, he loves to shoot it. I'm interested to see how his game is translating on the USL level, and then Foster Langsdorff up top. So a good starting 11 for Reno. They're taking this game very seriously, and they can clinch tonight. They're the top of Group A with, I believe, with the win. I need to double check if a draw will do it too, but I know for sure with a win, they can clinch what is configured as Group A, in USL Championship. They've already qualified for the playoffs. So again, pretty exciting. Excited to see, those three players that I mentioned, and maybe someone will surprise me. My intention is to write an article next week for Quakes Epicenter to talk about the players that I think might be, players that Almeida should at least take a look at. I'm not going to say that, they should immediately come in and have an impact, but I think given that Matias is doing Almeida's system now, I know Ian is very optimistic that they would be able to come in immediately and be able to make an impact if Matias took a look at them. And I'm going to write about that next week. So at 2 for sure, and maybe 3 players, we'll kind of focus in on how they can help the Quakes. Thanks for tuning in, Run 1018. One of my favorite Black and Azul watchers as well. Always brings it on Black and Azul. So trying to put the baby to sleep. I have been there many times. I have a 5-year-old who still likes mom or dad to lay with him. Ryan says, do you think the Quakes will stick with Reno as their affiliate or look into switching over to Oakland roots? So look, there's just a few of us here. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. It won't be the roots. The Quakes are more than likely, and MLS in general, more than likely, the rumors are that they're going to start a U23 league that will potentially compete with USL Championship as a second tier, but we'll see. One of the things that I've heard is that the roots are coming in because MLS teams that have their own U23 teams in USL Championship are going to be pulling out as early as 2021. I don't know that for sure. It's just a rumor. But if that's what happens, it won't be the Quakes picking up the roots. What I expect they will do is they will put their academy kids, their homegrowns, into the U23 team. The Quakes no longer have a U19 academy team. They will take the U19s and they will put them into the U23s. And then I think, and we'll see from there. So we might see a lot more homegrowns because of that start to come in. If that happens, and the other thing that I expect Reno to do is be the place for the draft picks that come in, and for like the 3rd and 4th string goalkeepers. So you can expect things like, let's say, Emi Ochoa ideally would come in and he would be the goalkeeper for the U23 team, and he's only, I think, 15, 16 years old right now. So, that would give him a few years, but at the U23 level. I don't know that, this is just rumor, speculation. But the roots do not seem like they are interested in a MLS affiliation. They seem very, very independent and wanting to do things their own way. I don't see them bending to what's going on, in MLS as a focus of theirs. Now, other teams like Phoenix Rising have stated that they have MLS aspirations. Those things could still happen. You could see more USL Championship teams making the move. But Reno, I think, is in a fairly safe spot at the moment. But I don't know, because we haven't really gotten a chance to talk to Jesse about it and see what he feels is the go-forward relationship with Reno. Unfortunately, with COVID, there's not player movement between the two teams this year, so it's almost like they're just two independent teams, other than Reno's running the Quake system, and hopefully a couple players can impress Matias. What else do you guys got? I got probably another 5, maybe 10 minutes if you guys have anything else that you want to talk about. Again, if you're just tuning in, what we got going on here, I'm sitting in a suite on my own, which means I don't have to wear a mask, which is nice. And you can kind of see this is the view, and there are seats outside and, from the baseball stadium. And I'll probably go out once the game starts and watch the game from out there. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. We've had as many as I think 5 join, and that's perfectly fine. We've never tried anything like this before, and I was excited just to try it out and kind of see how it went. And I figured, hey, I'm here. Might as well try to interact with the fans. It's not a Black and Soul pregame show, but I thought it would be kind of fun to try to do something. And it's a good experience for me because I've never attempted to do a live stream before, but we have the account for Quakes Epicenter. Might as well use it. Anything else that anyone has a question on? Happy to answer anything. These have been good questions so far. So going back again one more time, just taking a look at the starting lineup for anyone who just joined. What I'm going to be watching tonight are 3 players: Foster Langsdorff at the 9, Francois at the left wing, and Sam Gleadle at the left back positions. Those are the 3 I'm going to keep my eye on. I'm going to see if anyone else impresses me. And my intention is to write an article next week about potential players who Matthias ought to take a look at. So that's why I am here. Other than just a little bit of family R&R, I'm going to not be on Black and Azul tomorrow night. Let the boys do their thing. And just kind of try to enjoy some family time this weekend. And I was a little bit worried about how cold it would be, and I forgot a jacket, but I at least have my long sleeves, so I'm kind of prepared for however chilly it's going to get out here. We'll see. Ryan says, do you think the negative national press that the Quakes have been getting lately has affected anything at the club? Well, players say that they don't pay attention to the press, but we do know that they actually do. I'm sure it's not helping their morale, but hopefully they're going to look at it as locker room bulletin board material, and they're going to be out to prove people wrong. What I think is probably the biggest motivator right now are the contract situations. So whether the players want to stay or whether the players want to leave, those who are in a contract situation, they need to be playing for those contracts. And I thought that Robert Jonas had a really good idea in terms of trying to find the A and B team, something along those lines where let's take the players who are playing for their contracts probably and put them in one squad, and the players who are for next season aren't going anywhere, in another squad. And, let the players show what they can do because, they want to be able to get that contract, whether it's here or somewhere else. And, frankly, it can definitely affect, the type of contract that they can get next season, if they don't show up. And these last 10 games are their opportunity to show something to anyone who might be looking at them, whether it's, back in Europe or here in the States or Jesse and Matthias themselves. And we've seen a lot of players who didn't quite cut it on the senior roster and ended up, getting contracts in Reno, and Ian's not against that. He's done that with Kevin Partita. He did that with Sergio Rivas, both of which are starting tonight. And he's done it in other situations. So if he thinks a player brings value, he will, absolutely take them if Jesse gives him a call and says, hey, we're not going to re-sign this guy. But I think the guys who are MLS level players want to stay in MLS, and this is their chance to prove it. I hopefully they don't let the press get them too much once the ball kicks off there. Hopefully they're ready to go. But we do need to see more effort, I think, on that. How about in the front office or ownership level? It's hard to say how much John Fisher cares. I know Jesse does, just to a greater extent. I think pay attention to the narratives around the club and to him. I know people like Jared Shawley care quite a bit, and I do think there's a lot of sharing of articles and things like that go around the office. We do know that people, tune into Black and Azul, and they want to see what we say. They want to see what Matthias says. I mean, I guess who cares what we say? But we had 150 live people last show. We had 700 people watch the last episode. It's been that way for the past few episodes. And those are the most passionate fans in the fan base. So I think those things matter to them quite a bit, or at least I think that it's noise in their head. How much they pay attention at the national level to comments by guys like Taylor Twellman. I don't really know. But I don't think they're making hire fire decisions based upon Taylor saying that, if it was anyone else, Matthias would have been fired. I don't think they make decisions based upon what the press thinks. I do think it can affect some levels of morale, though. Questions, Ryan? Thank you for keeping things going here. Hopefully Ren's baby is getting asleep here soon. Appreciate you all tuning in. I can maybe stay on a couple more minutes here if anyone else has anything. Feel free to jump on and ask a question, leave a comment, and I'll be happy to answer it. I actually got one earlier today that was kind of funny. Someone replied on one of the Patreon accounts, the Patreon account comments for this, and said, this game will be much better than tomorrow's game. This was Laszlo Hollefeld. I'm sure. Will be much better than tomorrow's game, I'm sure. Ask Ian if he can rest his leading scorer. He has not done that. And loan him to San Jose for the rest of the season. I think he's up for that. Once confirmed, ask Matthias if he can tie up Andy Rios and Vega back-to-back Scooby-Doo mysteries style and leave them in the locker room. Pretty please. That was a pretty good comment. I did think probably a lot of Quakes fans would like to see Foster Langsdorff, get a shot and just to see what he can do. And I think a lot of them would like Vega and Rios to not start the next game. You guys got anything else for me? Happy to answer maybe one more. More from Ryan. Okay, if you had to guess, do you think Wando comes back for another year? It would be devastating to go out like this without fans being able to give him a deserved send-off. I completely agree. I have to imagine that he is not going to want his career to end this way, just like he actually didn't want his career to end last year the way that it ended there either, with losing the last 7 games and missing the playoffs. I guess the biggest question for Wando is, does he think that regardless of what happens in the offseason, does he think that whether it's Matthias and Jesse or whether it's somebody brand new, and what their plans are for the club, can they come back in next year and put together a club that can make the playoffs? And I think if the answer is yes, he's more likely to stay. I think if the answer is no, as sad as it may be, as depressing as it may be for his career to end this way, he may just decide that he doesn't want to put in for another season and ask his family to go through that for another season. I think he listens a lot to his family, and he's going to take that temperature. But it would be very sad if it ended right here this way. All right, guys. Well, we're getting close to, I don't know if it's kickoff, but at least ESPN going live. I appreciate you tuning in. And for our very first stream, I had no expectations, to be quite honest. If anyone showed up, I was going to be happy and have a nice conversation. Thank you, Ryan, for keeping us going with your comments. I know other people are watching, maybe unable to comment, but I think I'd like to try to do something like this more often. In fact, I was intending to do them before Quakes games until we decided to do pregame Black and Azul, which we are so excited about and has been very well received. We are getting about 45, 50 people live before the games. And that's a really good, live audience for what we do. It's very exciting with no push from the club or anyone else. I again appreciate you guys tuning in today to check this out, and hopefully got some answers to your questions. And we'll be try to do it again sometime if Black and Azul doesn't, or there's another good reason. If we get some team news, anything like that, maybe we will do one of these and take any questions that you guys have. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening. If you have ESPN Plus, hope you enjoy it. And we'll look forward to seeing any comments that you have on Twitter tonight. Take care.